Okay, first thing is I always use a scale. Scale allows you to keep everything accurate, especially when baking. Okay, so I measured out 450 grams of all-purpose flour. To that, I'm going to add my powdered milk. Here's some sugar, some baking powder. I've got some yeast. Here is my salt. Here is 300 milliliters of warm water, and I've got some oil. Now I'm just gonna add my sugar to my water. Here's my yeast, adding the yeast. Now I'm just gonna give it a stir. I wanna dissolve it as much as I can, and then I'm gonna just set it on the side. This is a good time for you to figure out whether your yeast is activated or not. It should get real foamy. Meanwhile, I'm gonna add the salt to my flour. I'm now gonna add my baking powder, and to that, I'm gonna stir in the rest of the ingredients, which is the powdered milk. That's all that's left. Now, all the ingredients are going to be in the description box, so don't worry about what I just said. Just kind of look at the technique, and then everything is gonna be there for you in the description box. Now, here's what my yeast looks like. See how it got nice and foamy? I'm gonna add the oil right to it. Get all the oil in there. This is about 100 grams of oil, and you can use any kind of oil. I just use vegetable oil here. I'm gonna add all my wet ingredients and my dry ingredients to my stand mixer. On stir, I just wanna incorporate everything together. Once everything's incorporated, I'm gonna raise the speed a little bit, and I'm gonna let it go for about 4 to 5 minutes. Here's what it looks like now. You notice how the dough is really wet? It's not pulling together and leaving the sides like you're used to. This is a wet dough. Don't add any more flour. Just let it go for 4 to 5 minutes. We're gonna oil our hands a little bit, get it off the beater there, and then I'm gonna put it in a oiled bowl. I have a little bit of oil on my hands as well. I'm just gonna pat the top of it so it doesn't create a crust. And I'm gonna cover it with plastic wrap, and then I'm going to let it rest for about 45 to an hour, 45 minutes to an hour. It should double, sometimes even triple, depending on how hot your kitchen is. So here mine about doubled in size. I'm gonna remove it out of the bowl. And you don't have to be careful, and you don't have to punch it down and all that other stuff you see on TV. I'm just gonna pull it apart because we're reshaping this again. So I'm just getting it out of the bowl. I'm gonna slap it on a counter. All right, and then I'm going to separate it. This piece here should give us about 8 rolls. So try to cut it as evenly as you can. My trick is to cut it in half, and then you know, just cut that part in half and then that part in half until I get 8. Now, if you're a little OCD, you can take it and you can weigh every piece of it. It should be about 100 grams or so. I don't know. Now, this is the important part. You got to take each roll, each piece, and you roll it onto itself. It's kind of like closing a book. So I'm rolling it onto itself, and I'm trying to get the tight part on the top there. You want that to be as smooth as possible. The more taut that part is, the smoother it's going to be, and the nicer it's going to look once it bakes, because this is the part we're going to be brushing with that egg mixture and milk. So I got somewhat 8. Yeah, I got 8 even pieces. I'm now going to cover it with a nice clean towel, and I'm going to let it rest a little bit. Not for too long, 10-15 minutes, just until my oven warms up. Now, once I take my towel off, you'll see that it got a little bit bigger. It just, not a lot bigger, but just a little bit bigger. Now I'm going to brush them with the egg and milk mixture. And try not to use too much. I used a lot. And at the end of the video, I'm going to show you what happens when you use too much egg. But we're going to wrap, just brush them with the egg mixture. And then here's my everything bagel seasoning. And you can get that anywhere. Again, description's going to be in the description box. Ingredients. That's it. We're now ready to put them in the oven. Here they go. I'm putting them in the oven. This is an oven that has been preheated to 400 degrees. And they baked for about 20 minutes. As you can see, they're really nice and soft. And they smell just wonderful. Wait till you see what they look like inside. This is what happens when you add more eggs.
Hi
Hi everybody. All right, so we're back. We have baked these for about 20 minutes in the oven. We took them out, they cooled for 15 minutes. You gotta wait, give them time to cool, they'll be worth it. And here they are once they were done. I wanna show you what they look like inside, so I'm gonna slice into one right now, just so you can see what it looks like. So here's the inside of it. It's really soft. It's like clouds, like this, like cloud bread. It's so good. So I'm gonna be making some hamburgers with these for lunch today. But before I forget, I wanna show you the seasoning that I used. This is the one that I used, the Everything Bagel seasoning. I'm sure you've seen it. I've seen it at Costco, actually the other day. But I'm gonna show you how to make it. Not show you, but I'm actually gonna put the ingredients in the information box below so you can just do it. It's pretty easy, just a couple of ingredients that you probably have sitting around at home anyway. And this is good in an airtight jar for like 6 months. You can leave it in there in the cabinet. Well, that's pretty much for today. So I hope you've enjoyed watching these Everything Bagel sandwiches, and I'll see you next time.